So we've officially been engaged for 1 month, which is very exciting. I'm not sure if you can hear it, but if you can, there's some construction going on outside of my house. So I don't know, it seems loud to me, but I'm not sure if you guys will be able to hear it. I also have a few friends who are recently married and recently engaged. So in the spirit of weddings, I have decided to both document and discuss the sometimes stressful but always exciting process of planning a wedding. So, obviously, we're not too far into the whole planning thing. We're basically just discussing different options and seeing what kind of things he wants to make sure there are and what kind of things I want to make sure there are, because we really want this day to be about both of us. I know that a lot of people like to say this is the bride's day, but I firmly believe that this is the bride and the groom's day. So we're basically trying to find a nice happy medium between what both of us want, which is actually really easy. Luckily for us, because we like all of the same things. So there aren't really any issues with that, which is nice. Unfortunately, though, I'm sad to say that amongst our excitement about being engaged, we're already experiencing some stressful and really unfair outside influences. So, in the short amount of time that we have been engaged, we've already learned one very important thing, and that is that this is our engagement experience. This is our wedding, and we need to make sure that it stays that way. For Seamus and I, we are not looking at the wedding with tunnel vision. We are enjoying this whole process of being engaged. The wedding is kind of like a big finale to what will be a very exciting engagement experience. So it's important to make sure that you and your groom maintain not only what will make your wedding day special for you, but the days that lead up to it as well. Enter what we like to call the wedding bullies. A wedding bully is anyone who tries to influence you and convince you to do things a certain way, even if that way is not what you want. This usually comes from the attitude that your wedding and engagement should somehow be both about them and for them. They often do this in a manner that can be aggressive, overbearing, and doesn't take your feelings and opinions into consideration. These people are really upsetting to deal with, but in my opinion, you shouldn't even have to be dealing with them. Ultimately, you need to make sure that you have the things that you want on your wedding day, as well as throughout your engagement, even if other people don't agree with your decisions. They'll try to change your mind, they'll try to justify their opinions, they'll try to make you feel as though what they want you to do makes more sense than what you want to do. Don't listen to them. You need to ask yourself this. Why do they want you to do this thing a certain way? Why does a certain date or food matter to them? Why does it matter to them if you have daisies instead of roses, or long bridesmaid dresses instead of short bridesmaid dresses, or pies for dessert instead of cake? Why? Because when you really look at it, if people are trying to make you change what you want into what they want, they're making your special time more about themselves than they are about you. And in my opinion, those aren't the kind of people you want to be helping you plan your wedding. Now, this is not me condoning bridezilla behavior. Not at all. It's never okay to be rude when you're planning your wedding. Or at all, really. But it is okay to stand your ground and make sure that your special time actually is yours. And the groom's, of course. The nice thing about weddings is that they are as individual as the couple that the wedding is celebrating. So it's important to make sure that your wedding tells your guests about you and your future husband or future wife. Anyone who tries to take the wedding away from what's important to you and your groom do not have your best interests at heart, regardless of what they may say to try to suggest otherwise. So when you find yourself dealing with a wedding bully, it's important to make sure that they understand that while you appreciate their input, you and your groom will ultimately be the ones making the final decision. And while you would love to have it, their approval is not going to be what makes or breaks your engagement or your wedding. While these situations can be frustrating, and it's really unfortunate that they do come up a lot while people are planning weddings, it's really important in the very beginning to make sure that you and your groom sit down, you decide what's important to the both of you, and you make sure that you stick with that. Don't let people make you feel guilty for things that you really don't have to be feeling guilty about. So that's my first little bit of advice. So if you're also planning a wedding, I would love if you would kind of come along with me and, share your experiences and share your stories. I would love to hear them.